Hey, what's up?
Hey, just had a pretty interesting experience this morning, and put through a post up on the PP Show subreddit, and just was so excited, wanted to reach out, have a quick conversation to you, and I appreciate you inviting me on your stream to sort of kind of unpack this. I don't think it's anything definitive. It's just another scrap of tinfoil as it relates to Bed Bath and Beyond or Butterflies equity and the direct registration system. It's just very opaque, but I think we've got a couple breadcrumbs to follow.
Sweet. Well, let me just post it real quick. I mean, there's probably already people going to be trickling in, but all right, now it's up. So what's up?
Just it's as difficult as anything to remain focused on anything except for what's going on with the stonks these days. And as I was, it came to my attention. There's all sorts of things from people talking about you know us getting bought out at $25 a share, about the transfer agent changing from AST, people that had existing accounts, being told by AST representatives that there's nothing left in their account. And I myself had just submitted a DRS request, um, that I think late last week or earlier this week, and it just finished its processing yesterday. And with everything up in the air about who the transfer agent is, and uh, who the transfer agent is, where the heck is everything going, what the heck is going on, I decided to reach out to Fidelity chat support today and made a quick post on the PP show, and had some very interesting new information made available to me. And I sort of went down the rabbit hole, called all the customer service numbers that were provided to me. Ended up going on somewhat of a wild goose chase, but it was an interesting experience, and just wanted to share that here.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, let's get into it.
Awesome. Do you mind sharing the image from the Reddit post?
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is me working with Fidelity earlier today. So just had a question about my investments. I was able to connect to a representative, and the Fidelity representative. My questions to him were to confirm where my recent direct registration order, where are they being sent? Because it's my understanding that AST is no longer the transfer agent. And he did a little bit of research and got back to me to confirm that AST is no longer the transfer agent as of 9:30. I think a lot of people have already posted that, but that the transfer agent is now listed in Fidelity's system anyway as being Mellon Investments LLC. So that's all the information I was able to get from Fidelity. He instructed me to, Google their support number and, you know, go from there, see what I can learn. So I just went on the internet, found a generic phone number for Mellon Investments LLC. I submitted like a form to, receive an email response, but also found a phone number to speak with one of their financial advisors. So when connected to the financial advisor, I I sort of expressed to him, hey, I don't have an account with Mellon today. I work with Fidelity. They informed me that my direct registration order of stock was sent to Mellon Investments LLC. What can you tell me about getting a custody account or accessing my shares through your portal? At which point I was informed that uh, BNY Mellon has their own internal transfer agent service, and provided me with their phone number, and I gave it a dial. And earlier today, I had been on the phone with ComputerShare, just sort of calling out of the blue. I already had a ComputerShare account, so I was able to talk to a representative, but I called their US and Canada branches, and mistakenly went to Canada, but heard from the ComputerShare agent when I called in through their 1-800 number earlier, after going through their contact center sort of interactive voice response system and pressing zero a bunch of times to talk to an agent, that ComputerShare is not Bed Bath and Beyond's transfer agent. There's no information they can make available to us at this time. So I had already done that before all of this, but then after being transferred by the Mellon Investments representative to Mellon's transfer agent service desk, which my impression was that was an internal resource. Someone answers the phone directly, no contact center intermediary. Someone answers the phone and greets me and says, "ComputerShare, how can I help you?" which was surprising because I was speaking with ComputerShare earlier that day, and they said there was no information they had available, and from everything that they could see, they didn't have the stock. So just went through the process of kind of clarifying, why am I talking to someone at ComputerShare if I was referred to by someone at Mellon Investments LLC, and they informed me that ComputerShare manages the transfer agent services for Mellon Investments LLC. And the clarification I received was that that would be for Mellon Investments' own stock in terms of their equity awards, employee stock purchase program, restricted stock unit program, not for any other corporate clients. They don't manage corporate clients on behalf of Mellon. They only manage things for Mellon. So thought that was a little confusing, because why would Fidelity send the direct registration order to Mellon Investments LLC if Mellon Investments LLC does not perform transfer agent services for other companies other than what's in their own corporate structure? So with that clarification, I I just kind of kept the conversation going, and the representative at ComputerShare, who I was referred to by or forwarded on to by people at Mellon, indicated that ComputerShare will no longer be managing the or the transfer agent services for Mellon Investments LLC uh, after October 16th. On October 16th, or following October 16th, uh, those transfer agent services would be assumed by the Wells Fargo transfer agent services. So they gave me
which
the number. Go ahead.
took the all the call options were moved up to October 20th, and the 90 days is up on the 18th. So it's kind of interesting that there's the 16th is when the transfer agent switches. The 18th, once the 90 days. I don't know, the 90 days has to be up. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask. But then the 20th is when the call options have been all moved up to. So it looks like something's going to be changing all around there.
Yeah, and that, and also some interesting correlations between this time frame and some of the Jewish DD that's been submitted with Rosh Hashanah and some other updates, Yom Kippur. I'm not an expert on all that stuff, but there's apparently a lot of holidays and potential symbolism there. Don't want to get into that, but there's just a lot happening here inside the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I was very interested to find that the ComputerShare service will no longer be functioning as the transfer agent for uh, Mellon Investments LLC, which is the entity that Fidelity told me that they sent my shares of stock to for direct registration, and that was moving on to the Wells Fargo transfer agent desk. So I received their number, called them, and I was expecting to speak with a Wells Fargo employee, and it turns out the person that answered that phone number was an employee at I think it's pronounced Equinity, right? Who we
Yeah.
now who we know has merged with AST. So in speaking with the Equinity / Wells Fargo rep, they I informed them, hey, I submitted a DRS request for Bed Bath and Beyond stock. I was instructed to talk to people at Mellon. They transferred me to people at ComputerShare, and ComputerShare transferred me to Wells Fargo, but you're answering the phone at Equinity, and you're trying to transfer me on over to AST. Is there any information that you could provide about this? And he basically said, no, there's not. Transferred me over to AST. So I'd finally completed this wild goose chase following this trail of breadcrumbs, starting from information provided to me by my broker, landing at Mellon, then going to ComputerShare, then going to Equinity, and finally being transferred to AST. And I had not previously had an AST account set up, so I had no account balance or any shares there to be removed from the portal, uh, just to uh, talk to them about new account creation instructions. What would that look like? So I'm speaking with the AST representative, inform them of my experience, how I got to their desk, and it was pretty. I basically expressed the sentiment that, like, hey, look, I initiated a DRS transfer request. I'm just trying to figure out where my shares will arrive after the service that my broker performed is completed. And the AST representative, she didn't have any information to provide me that was definitive or anything relating to that. But I thought her response was pretty interesting, and we're getting a little bit into the tinfoil here. But after I explained to the AST representative that Fidelity referred me on to Mellon referred me on to Computer Share referred me to Equinity, and Equinity referred me over to AST. The AST representative said, "Well, I can't tell you where those shares will end up being registered, but it seems like you may have, done a lot of the work and found that answer on your own." So that may have just been a comment, in conversation, sort of maintaining rapport with a customer. But I thought it was kind of interesting that there was some sort of verbal validation in some sense that maybe we're onto something. Seeing the shares be sent to the Mellon Investment LLC organization, and after just doing a little bit of research, and I think Michael will probably share the link to this Reddit post where this chat summary and some wrinkle brains have started a discussion regarding this experience. It looks like Mellon Investments LLC, their transfer agent services were acquired by ComputerShare, I believe, back in 2012, and then Wells Fargo's transfer agent services were acquired by Equinity on a similar timeline. It's just very interesting that people are still using the old names of these businesses when, in fact, they've been, incorporated into other businesses, seemingly like a decade ago. So I just wanted to share that experience, start a conversation on this subject. I'm very excited about this because at the end of the day, it seems like what happened. It seems like someone is to restore the provision of transfer agent services to Bed Bath and Beyond shareholders on or after October 16th, 2023. That's what I got out of this, just in terms of the dates provided to me by the agents that I spoke to today. And why in the world would a company that is going through a Chapter 11 bankruptcy process and has to have their expenses audited and approved by a presiding judge, why would they go to the unnecessary and needless expense of changing transfer agents? Yeah, and the sole purpose of a transfer agent's existence is simply to manage the registration of ownership divided across all equity holders and maintain that ledger, with the company and communicate with the DTCC. If equity holders are to get nothing as a result of this process, why go? Like, this is what changing transfer agents would be, a needless and unnecessary expense. So why is simply getting clear instruction as to, yep, your shares are not only canceled but deleted. There are no further instructions. There will be no further instructions. When you look at under a magnifying glass, why are we seeing things that indicate that, this time last week, or maybe 10 days ago, if you were submitting a DRS order through your broker, that was being sent to AST, no ifs, ands, or buts. If you sent a DRS order in anytime this week after September 30th, they're being sent somewhere else. Why would that be? And now where they arrive, it appears that process will just result in it being, they have nowhere to arrive until October 16th at the earliest. That's been my expression. That's been my impression in all of this. But Michael, I'm interested to get your take, and if anybody in chat wants to hop in, share their thoughts on what this may look like or why this may be. I'm all for whatever anybody has to say. We've got some time to kill between now and October 16th at the very earliest, it seems. What do you think, Michael?
I mean, one, just this is interesting. I looked it up, and now that you bring it up, I do remember it being posted. So BNY Mellon is holding almost all the bonds, right? And that seems interesting. Also, I've kind of been thinking of like, there was, looking back at 2008, it was like JP Morgan and some of their banks like cannibalized all these like dead banks, Bear Stearns and, all these different entities. So it seems like Goldman Sachs, put itself in a very precarious position, as well as Citadel. and that there's got to be some reason that Ryan Cohen bought into Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo kind of in my eyes went down as far as being legitimate, but I think that that might be why Ryan Cohen bought in, is because it started losing favor, and then it's like, okay, well, he'll come in and then try and make a difference and turn it around. So um, yeah, so I see that the big players, these big banks are, that there's some sort of teams going on, and they all have their sights set on Goldman Sachs and Citadel and Virtu, and Apollo is in there, um, and is BlackRock. So I don't know. I just think that this has been like a something that's been building up for a long time. I've also was looking into world cost market this morning. Like, so world cost plus showed up on DK Butterfly's uh, in their ownership as like a 10% owner, I believe. I was just about to look it up again, and uh, so I was wondering if that's world market cost plus, or whether it was um, oh, microphone. Let's see, is this better? Sorry, I've been experimenting with different mics.
Yeah,
Sorry, the
that's a little
chat.
louder for me. We'll see what the chat says.
Okay. Anyway, so I've been trying to figure out whether the cost plus is from oh, what's his name? Mark Cuban,
Yes.
or whether it's world cost plus world markets, which was bought out by a private equity fund apparently in 2021. And so that seems super interesting. But sorry, that's just some tangents. As far as the transfer agent, I mean, it's just it's just so exciting that it's like it's doing something. It's not going to zero, that's for sure. Why would they be transferring it all the way over to computer share? Which on computer share they have overstock, and there's also GameStop are both on computer share. So the price convergence of those two was interesting to me. The idea that I kind of I when Overstock put their stalking horse bid in, my first thought, I had mentioned this on the PB show, was that, well, maybe GameStop um, would be GameStop would be just buy Overstock, and then they would indirectly own it. I have someone in the back. This is Ape King. I'll bring him in and see what he has to say. Ape King, mic check. You there? We can't hear you. If yeah, sorry, I'm a little scattered. So it seems like the story is unfolding quicker than I can even keep up. What are you thinking right now, Wally?
I'm I what seems to, and I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to figure this out just like anybody else, but I think it is interesting that there was some leaked information, the validity of it, who knows, but I think we've all seen the posts about there being a cash deal, no equity yet, but as we know, the plan was submitted and finalized on September 30th, but part of the finalized plan was a contingency in which the debtors can improve the standing of any class of stakeholder up until I believe it's November, or maybe as late as January. But bottom line is, until future notice, and until the fat lady finally stops singing, the debtor, Bed Bath and Beyond or Butterfly, it's within their right to improve the standing of any stakeholder, equity holders such as themselves included. So it could be that if the $25 offer with no equity was a valid set of preliminary instructions provided to some brokers, maybe not all brokers. At that time, that's not to say that it can't improve and equity can't become a part of a distribution at some later date by a future introduction by the company. But what sort of made sense to me in this is, being that the plan finalization date was September 30th, that was also the date in which AST is reported that they are no longer providing transfer agent services for the stock, and presumably, and so that in and of itself isn't necessarily a bullish thing or a bearish thing. I mean, it could be either. AST is no longer providing transfer agent services. It's on the bearish side of things because equity holders are getting dissolved. I don't think any of us here believe that to be true. On the bullish side of the narrative would be that AST is no longer providing transfer agent services because they're in the process. The company is in the process of re-registering their transfer agent service through another company, another service provider, after having completed finalized share counts. There's been some period of time in which the equity was no longer trading. We paid attorneys, millions of dollars in the months of August and September to do those finalized share counts, and they're simply in the process of provisioning that account setup with another transfer agent service. And AST no longer has responsibilities following 9/30. That kind of lines up with the potential for part of the plan to be an acquisition of DK Butterfly or Bed Bath and Beyond by Overstock, as part of the plan that's still under a non-disclosure agreement. And if so, we know that Computershare is Overstock's transfer agent. So that would provide some explanation for why, on the bullish side of the narrative, the transfer agent needed to cease operations, or those services needed to no longer be provided by AST, have it transferred to Computershare, because that's where the acquiring company's equity is managed, and it makes sense to do some sort of combination there. And paying $25 per unit of stock, and potentially also issuing some equity if there's a future enhancement to the plan. That's I'm taking a wild swing at this, but that was sort of what entered into my mind as a result of what I've found out this morning. I've got to go on mute for just a second and take a quick phone
Yeah,
call.
you're good.
Excuse me.
So Abe, let's do a mic check. You hear? We still can't hear you. So something that's okay. Also, I'll bring you on Alabubu. Let's see.
Hello?
Oh, hey, what's up?
Not much. I'm the dude you had that conversation with on Saturday.
Oh yeah, good, sweet.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't
I
recognize the name.
realized after the fact that the name wasn't appearing on the screen.
Oh yeah. So what's new? What's up? How you doing?
I just came here for a quieter place than the spaces. Was
Oh
hoping to
yeah.
get more concise information without the hyperbole or you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean today is definitely an exciting day. I'm
Yeah.
jacked about all that's happened.
Yeah,
And
and
the
I was
fact that
thinking,
they're transferring transfer agents, whatever they're doing, wherever they're going, is a guarantee now that we're not getting zeroed out.
right, exactly. And we have a kind of a definitive timeline with the call options being moved up and with the transfer agent switching. I mean, it
Yeah,
seems that to be before October 20th. So
yeah. Lately, I've just been, oh, I don't know if I should share them, but I've got a bunch of great memes to post all over the place when this rolls our way.
yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I was also thinking about the $25, like whether it's $25 or anything, it could be. So if Sixth Street owns, actually, although they do, don't they? Oh, maybe I need someone else to that's a null specialist, but don't they need to, in order to preserve the nulls, we have to remain as shareholders. We can't just be cash bought out. Is that?
Is 50, we have to retain 50% value. I don't remember where they would be taking that figure from. I don't know if it's 50% of current share price, but That doesn't seem to float. Yeah, you're right. We do need a specialist. I'm not going to say anything that I'm not for sure. I just know that shareholders have to retain 50% value. That's the line directly from the dockets.
Yeah. I was just thinking if there's some way where if HBC owns like, over 300 million shares, and if,
oh no, you are, I just remembered. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yes, you're right. We have to remain shareholders for 2 years. I believe it's the same with the dip financing. Whoever acquires the company also has to retain control for 2 years, and it's the same for shareholders. So I do think you're right.
Yeah. So, because I was just wondering, like, there's a lot of interesting ways they could go about it, but if the float is really only if like two main big players that are working together, like if they own 600 million shares, then they could basically set the price whatever they want, because all they'd have to do is buy out the float, and then all the shorts would have to buy out their shares at whatever cost.
I mean, looking at how they're moving the pieces on the board, it's so much cloak and dagger. The only reason to do it this way, in my opinion, is it's a trap. It's a bear trap of some sort.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm definitely on the pro bear trap camp. I'd rather have it be that than a validated bear thesis. I think there's someone in the chat earlier said this isn't a trail of breadcrumbs. This is an absolute shit show, and I couldn't agree more with that sentiment as well.
Yeah, I mean, people are putting pieces together. Like Jake is great at it, Jake 2B, but he's taking single lines out of 100-page documents, and like, I mean, he's great at it, and he's probably the person I trust most in this whole DD research, but it's looking like a shit show, but there are those breadcrumbs mixed in there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think my biggest takeaway from my interactions with the customer support representatives today was that we probably aren't going to get any clarity on this until at least October 16th. And it seems as though ComputerShare, their customer support representatives aren't made aware of this information, but somewhere in their back office, there's work being done, protected by a non-disclosure agreement to manage the transfer of stock from Equity and Bed Bath & Beyond from AST into ComputerShare. But I was informed today that ComputerShare would no longer be working with this equity, and that wasn't necessarily definitive, but it was interesting in my line of questioning.
ComputerShare or AST?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Sweet.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So the shit show that I went through just now was being directed to Melon by Fidelity, and then from Melon to ComputerShare to Equinity, and Equinity to AST. And so the first transfer agent I tried to speak to, Melon, I talked to an investment advisor. He forwarded me to Melon's transfer agent service. ComputerShare picks up the phone. ComputerShare says that they do see that they are the transfer agent for Bank of New York Mellon, but not Bed Bath & Beyond, up until October 16th. Let me check my notes and make sure that's what they said. And if it was exclusively not Bed Bath & Beyond.
Right before I left the space call, Sal called Alex, said that he got off the phone with someone higher up at ComputerShare. And I mean, this is another trust me, bro story.
Yeah,
but
that's why we're here.
Yeah, he more or less said, kind of just, interrogated him with a few questions, and then the rep was like, look, I can't tell you anything now, but just come back and check, like, your shares aren't here, but check back at end of day. And that's more or less all he said.
At end of day today. So that's a trust me
Yeah.
bro saying we may have information before October 16th.
Yeah,
And that might be correlated with Ryan Cohen's tweet with 84 years is up, you know. I mean, that's what it kind of seemed like to me when I saw it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like we've been waiting this long and finally it's time.
Well, this is all very interesting. Gentlemen, I wish I had more time, but I've got some work things popping up. I've played enough hooky today. I got to focus on the day job that pays the bills until my Teddy dividends are doing that for me. But happy to share my experience today. Looking forward to continuing to trolling on Reddit, see what other updates people have. But Michael, thanks for giving me a forum to talk to the community and have this discussion. Looking forward to seeing you all again soon.
All right, sounds good.
See you guys. Bye.
So Ape, or you can go ahead, Wallybuck or Ape King, whoever's got some thoughts.
No, I'm curious to see what Ape King says. Seems like he's got some dirt.
Ape King, you there? Hopefully we didn't lose your audio again.
Yeah, 1 minute. I'm just getting up.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Oh, shoot. We lost him.
Left in suspense.
Yeah. He's like, I've updated information. And then it's like, boom, gone.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so excited. It's like such an interesting feeling. Like I feel like super zen, but like just also kind of in a daze, I guess.
I mean, the moves that is happening with the restructuring team is just, or Kroll, or, well, everybody involved, just, it's so reassuring that they're moving this way, but dropping those little tidbits. I mean, it's impossible not to be zen. I mean, it's like an excited zen, but I'm still, I'm not like pacing around my room like, oh God, am I going to get my money? But
yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess, like a scheduling out, like the time frame. I just realized I need to pull up Kroll to see if there's anything new that's popped up, because they have been going at lightning speed through this whole chapter 11. I'm just, the only thing I was not worried about, but like annoyed by, was the Michaels versus Hobby Lobby thing, and that they actually wanted an evidentiary hearing or whatever, which I'm hoping they just settle outside of court.
Yeah, I could use some clarification on that. Who was claiming who was getting insider information on that? Was it Michaels claiming Hobby Lobby, or vice versa?
Michaels was claiming, I believe, that basically Hobby Lobby made an inside deal with Bed Bath to cancel their bid. And Michaels does have some sort of Apollo connection, so I'm not sure if it's just kind of a filibuster. And
I don't know.
Yeah, so
well,
it's just but the difference was $100,000 was they were Michaels was only going to pay $100,000 for that location, and then Hobby Lobby, they're going to sublet it, because I guess. So they're like, fine, we'll just pay like $1.7 million. And so, I mean, Bed Bath & Beyond couldn't have sold it to Michaels anyway, because the landlord wouldn't let them. And so now they're throwing a fit, saying, well, someone's got to pay for our lawyer fees, because they paid so that Bed Bath & Beyond would be able to fight for them to be able to make it happen. And it's like, well, it just didn't happen. And they're like, oh, well, now you're just taking the more money or whatever. So I don't know when that transaction actually went through, but so I'm not sure if all the reserve funds, like kind of like the waterfall funds, I don't know if that already contains the money from that transaction. or not, because if it doesn't, like, it made it sound like that they just barely switched over, that they just barely switched to Hobby Lobby. So
Interesting. I mean, yeah, I don't think the
yeah,
deal was finalized if they're handling this affair in the bankruptcy court. This feels like
yeah.
something that would be brought to a civil trial if the
Well,
money
it
had
did get
exchanged. Oh, it
to a
did?
civil trial. So that's the thing, is we have a new judge, and that new judge. So now we have three judges that are going to be part of that hearing.
But that doesn't, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but it just says, it seems like then the bankruptcy proceedings should have washed their hands from it. They made a deal, the deal is completed, it should no longer be their responsibility. And they should be able to continue with their affairs. That's all I'm saying. But again, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, OK Best didn't seem too worried about it, but I mean that was just, it was just kind of annoying to have things like that pop up and then to not know what that would do to the timeline. My guess is that someone will just kind of throw it out, be like, fine, hey, give him some of the money.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. I mean, it seems like the play is much bigger than that, so they're willing to probably settle.
Sure.
But
Not
yeah.
not to make it, someone in, I think you were in the call and you were talking to on the space about doing digging into Hobby Lobby. And I've actually
Mm-hmm.
done this in the past, and they are, I mean, they're a religious organization, but they always seem to back candidates that are more on the evangelical side. And
Mm-hmm.
evangelicals typically vote in the similar fashion. And that just so happens to be like pretty far right now. And we know
Mm-hmm.
that Citadel Securities and Kenny Boy is the largest GOP donor. So if this is a political divide, you were talking about teams earlier, then
Yeah.
there is a Hobby Lobby connection through a political divide.
Yeah, and I did actually see that too, and so now I'm like, okay, it's probably that Michaels is the one that's doing it. I mean, it's just kind of, yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, and who knows? It could literally just be this is, high level business dealings. They don't want a competitor right next to them, and they just are trying to protect their bottom line. It might not be
yeah.
underhanded tactics at all, but
Yeah, it's kind of hard to know, and that's why I've been trying to figure out who the Giants fighting are, because it's like, to move forward, like there has to be, picking a side. I think,
yeah.
yeah,
But also, Hobby Lobby is responsible for those Reddit ads, the "He Gets Us" ads talking about Jesus.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because now there's also ties with Fidelity to Reddit. I think Fidelity is the largest private investor in a non-IPO'd Reddit so far.
oh, wow, I did not
Yeah.
know that. I Just real quick to answer KYP's question, Michael, what happens to our shares at brokers, not DRS? Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm 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 not worried either way. I mean, I have most of mine at my broker. I just only sent over a few shares just to start my AST account, so I
Did
haven't
you
got
buy
any in the
any at
mail yet.
Moo?
Huh? I had, yeah, I bought just like a few.
Okay.
So I have several different brokers now.
Yeah. I didn't do too much research into that firm, but I wasn't impressed with what I saw. I I mean, no one here is a financial expert, but some brokers are worse than others.
hmm Yeah, no, I mean, I'm wondering, like, I don't know. I mean, we'll see whether this is enough to break it. I mean, if it is some sort of like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it could be, but if one broker breaks, I mean, I don't know if they might just like halt it for everyone. I don't know that, like, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much in uncharted territory right now, so no one's going to know exactly how this is going to pan out.
Right. Although one thing about the BNY Mellon, looking it up, let's see if I still have up something. It was that they specialized in like doing lending to like whole like crypto assets, so like managing crypto assets. So it was like one of the more legitimate ways to do that.
And
So
this is BNY Mellon.
yeah, man, it
That's
might have been
great.
Wally that actually pulled it up. So dang
That's
it.
like the exact opposite road that I've got. Well, I have a bank account with JP Morgan, and they are pretty
Yeah.
much going the exact opposite way with the blockchain and crypto related investments. They just want no part of it.
Let's see. Sure, this volume, man, it keeps nuking my volume. I don't know if are people trolling me or is it really low?
Oh, am I too loud?
No, they're saying that mine's low, or they're saying it's high volume. Michael, how do you hear my volume?
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So let's see. BNY Mellon, is the first large U.S. bank to safeguard digital assets alongside traditional investments. And so, I mean, they took down, Silicon Valley Bank, or it was Silver Bank. Was that the first one that was like
Silvergate,
crypto
the
associated?
crypto bank, yeah, that
Yeah,
backed FTX.
yeah. So you have BNY Mellon announced that its digital asset custody platform was live in the U.S. So that's all the way back in October 2022. So FTX got its, or not FTX, T0 and BSTX got their like official kind of go ahead with the SEC or with the FT. Yeah, I guess it was the SEC. In order to do a decentralized exchange, they got like the full permission in November. So it's interesting that must have October. This needed to happen, and then November. So that's actually really exciting. The platform allows select clients to hold and transfer Bitcoin and Ether. BNY Mellon's digital asset custody platform is initially available for select institutional clients in the U.S. February 2023. See, okay,
That's right when everything hit the fan, like
right.
right around there. Silvergate went down. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with them. I haven't done any research past like April in that for them, but it seemed like the Fed had moseyed on in and were more or less pulling the strings.
Yeah, no, this could be the timeline. This is crazy. BNY Mellon is the first large bank to safeguard. Okay, yeah. Well, there it is.
I mean, that's
Maybe
definitely
we are.
reassuring. Go
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying if all of these pieces seem to be lining up with affiliates or companies that we seem to be leaning into or moving into. I mean, time will tell.
Yeah.
But they seem to be more open to the blockchain than not. And that's, I mean, it's just another hint so far, but it seems a blockchain exchange is going to be the way we're going. I mean, it's just the pieces are lining up. There's no definitive proof yet, but it's a reasonable theory.
And one subsidiary, what was it? Like this one, like the Bank of New York Mellon corporate investment. I don't know if it's just a subsidiary that was started in 2007. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, because that was, hold up. Sorry to like, huh. Because Okay. Because Bitcoin was first came out in 2009. So, I mean, in 2007, I don't know if they saw the writing on the wall. It's like we have to prepare for something. I don't know. I mean, who knows? But sweet. Well, any other thoughts or? Whoa, shoot. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Wrong one.
No, I just want to say hi. I'm not the best at digging in a docket, so I at least have to get my leads of where to dig in or to research from other people. So I was mostly just here for the show.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, well, Wally just called me this morning. He was super excited after he got off the phone, and I was like, dude, let's just get it out there so that other people can build onto it. So maybe we might be doing a stream later tonight. So if people want to prepare anything or whatever and come back, we'll probably do it at the same time as the PP show, since the PP show is not going on tonight. Someone mentioned that maybe it was because someone told him not to. I haven't heard that. I'm sure PP would have told me not to stream either if that was the case.
Yeah. I'm especially if it can be reasonably proved that Pulte knows anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. This speculation. I don't know anything.
So someone just asked if Sirius Capital. Do you know anything about Sirius Capital acquired?
Just what they were talking about in the space call, that they had acquired Equinity and AST and then combined them. But this is old information. They're the parent organization of both AST and Equinity.
I mean, part of me wonders who they're associated with, whether if it is like a, BlackRock type thing or.
I don't know, but someone in the space call maybe an hour ago said that Equinity does also have blockchain backed tech, and so it's not like I don't know, but combining AST and Equinity, it seems like Equinity and AST have semi different focuses, and so I guess it made sense for them to combine, especially if the future is blockchain like we think it is.
I mean, right here you had someone that went from. Well, this is from Sirius Capital.
Yeah.
With BlackRock.
I don't. I think it's S. Let me look. I think it was Sirius Capital Investments. SIRIS Capital Group. So Cyrus.
Yeah. Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse. Whoa, what is going on over here? Oh, I can't. I didn't realize I didn't share my screen. So Deutsche Bank, Barclays, Credit Suisse. I mean, kind of.
Oh, those banks shouldn't be grouped together. All of those are in trouble.
Right. That's what I was just thinking. Like, that's kind of crazy. So this is serious. Electronics for imaging.
Is UBS in that group? Did you say that?
Yeah, or Credit Suisse.
Right, but Credit Suisse barely exists anymore. It's all UBS now, right?
Well, this is from 2019.
Oh, okay.
I just was trying to see if there was a connection to. Anyway, I guess maybe we'll.
Yeah, I mean, really the only thing I plan on doing today is, I mean, if I get some good leads, I'll dig through dockets around that specific topic, but I'm going to call Computer Share in about 2 hours, maybe a little less, like around 4:45 Eastern, see if they can update whether or not account holders have Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. All right. Well, unless anyone else has any other questions, maybe we'll just call it for right now. We'll meet back up this evening. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.